Hey everybody, welcome. So this is the obvious ongoing debate that we always have. What is the deal with the damn bubble craps machine? Now, I mean, what's going on, Funkmaster, Wayne, Eric made a 10. Thanks guys for being here. R. Wong, Mark, Polka Guy, Average Guy Craps, get her done. Thanks guys, appreciate you guys being here. Anthony. Now, what's going on, Chris? Michael, hey buddy. So, the ongoing debate with the bubble craps machine. I'm just going to go over what happened to me today. If you saw my live stream earlier, you're going to kind of know what happened, and then I'm going to explain where I think I am in this whole debate. Is it rigged? Is it not rigged? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Now, let me tell you what happened to me today, then you form your own damn opinion. Hey, Steven. Thanks, buddy. Now, first, if you've never played bubble craps before, here are the dice, right? Now, on a bubble craps machine, it is not like a real table. This is a real flat surface on a real table. A bubble craps machine, however, the flat surface, it has sides to it compared to the size of the dice. Now, let me show you this. Let's get out the old Yahtzee bowl. You guys haven't seen the Yahtzee bowl in a long ass time. So, here are the dice. To relative size, I would say the bubble craps machine is probably half the size of this compared to the dice. What's going on, Thunder? Hey, Michael. So, first situation happened to me today. I had a 250 bankroll, right? It was all from free play I had built up. No big deal. It was my free play, 250. So I get there early. And this was actually the first point out of the box. So this is why it really pissed me off. What's going on, Penn? Yes, Average Guy Craps. Rounded sides. You're damn right. Rounded dice, too. The edges are round, not like real dice on a real table. The dice have rounded edges. Now, this is the first situation. Point was 4. 4 was rolled. 4 was the point. I had 31 on the don't, and I built it up to 62 odds on the don't. This is what happened to me. The dice ended up being rolled in the center of the table. The one's right there. No joke, no lie. That's what the dice look like. 99.9% of the time, folks, this is what it looked like right there in the center of the table. I had 31 on the don't pass on the 4. Guess what it says? It lit up. Hey, 4 is a winner. Congratulations to everybody who bet the 4. Are you freaking kidding me? Guys, they counted this as a roll. It was 45 degrees. They counted it. They counted this as a roll in the center of the table. They counted it. They never do that. But because I was the only player, I don't know. Because I had a total of 31 on the don't and 62 in odds, a total of $93. You tell me. They could have, remember, they have 4 options. They always have 4 options. Count the roll. Reshuffle them up. Call the attendant. I'm not saying that Craft Strategies Live. I'm just telling you what happened to me today, and then we'll talk about it, right? This is what happened to me today. They counted that as a roll in the center of the table. When have you seen that count as a roll, Craft Strategies Live, in the center of a table? Come on. Come on. I know they don't have a live person watching. That's obvious. Craft Strategies Live, I'm just telling you what happened to me today. That's what happened to me today. Just saying what happened to me today. That's all I'm saying. You form your own opinion. Has nothing to do with the camera. The camera is just there for us to see. Well, let me explain. Guys, I had 5 different situations happen to me. They counted that as a damn roll today. And it never counts me as a roll. Craft Strategies Live, you tell me that counts as a roll for you? When have you ever seen that count in the center of a table? Never, ever. But I was on the don't, and that was a loser for me, and they counted it. That's all I'm saying. I've never seen them count it. When this die is at a 45-degree angle, that's crazy. Yeah, but average guy craps. I'm not done explaining because I had the same stuff happen to me again, and it didn't count it. And it was less than before. Let me know. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. It happened to me again in the center. That was the last thing that happened to me today. I'll get to it. Second thing that happened. Points 5. Okay? The 4 is laying flat. And the 3 is like on top like that. And we've all seen this, right? On bubble craps, like it's just, how can I do this? It's like that. So many times you'll see bubble craps, it takes it, and then it just goes doink, just like that, right? It happens. It's one of the options. They can flip it over, they can count the roll, they can call the attendant, or they reshuffle. Flipping over when it's in the corner happens all the time. Happens to all of us. All it had to do was flip over. Guess what it did? It did not flip over. It said, call the attendant. When the dice are up along the side, 80% of the time they call for the attendant. They reshuffle. Or they reflip it. They just reflip it. I'm sorry. Let me re-explain that. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so fired up. 80% of the time, when the dice are on its side like that, the bubble craps just boop, and it just flips over and they keep playing. Now, the next situation that happened, the third time that happened, I think it was a come out roll, right? Come out roll. The 6 was flat. I'm on the don't. It's a come out roll. So I don't want this to happen, right? It's like this. The 1's on top. All it does, right? I'm going to lose, right? Please call the attendant. Please call the attendant. It goes, boop, and goes like that. I lose. I'm on the don't pass. The fourth situation that happened to me, this all happened to me in 30 minutes, folks. I had 5 situations. The fourth one, I bet a $35 9 because I saw no 9s, right? It was pinned up against the side like this. The 4 was in the air slightly. Slightly. I can't do it now. I can't get it to slightly go up. It was kind of like that. Now, that was at maybe a 20-degree angle. When it counted it before, that 3-1, it was about a 45-degree angle, right? And it counted it. Now, I had a $35 9 bet. Guess what? You think they counted this? No. Guess what it said? Reroll. That's what happened. Reroll. Did not register it. Crap Strategies Live, I'm telling you the 5 things that happened to me today, and I'm just telling you. Anthony, you're absolutely right. There is no lack of consistency when the dice are not flat. How can it read it sometimes and other times not? How can it reshuffle sometimes and other times call the attendant? It makes no sense. I did not take pictures. I'm telling you the truth. I have nothing to gain by this. Now, the last thing that really bit my ass, I bet a 10 as well because there was no 9 or 10 for the whole 20 minutes, I swear. So I bet like a $15 10. This is what happened. It was at the center of the table. Man, I can't even do it, guys, because it's not. I'm going to put a dime under here so you can see that it was just not quite. The 4 was off just slightly. The 4 was off. Guys, the 4 was off just slightly up against the 6. I had a 10 bet. I had 15 on it. The 4 is not flat. Way, way closer to the bottom. Way, way closer to the bottom than I had on that 1-3, that 4, right? Way, way closer to the bottom. Do you think it counted it this time for me? No, didn't count it. Didn't freaking count it. Didn't count it. You know what it said? Dig, call attendant. 0 for 5. I had 5 separate damn situations. 5 situations. I was 0 for 5. For 5. I'm just telling you. You decide for yourself. I had 5, we'll call them coin flips, right? Could go my way, might not go my way. I had 5. They all did not go my way. I mean, I've done this thousands of times. Thousands of rolls. Yes, sometimes it flips in your advantage. But when I'm by myself at the table, man, it feels like I get crushed. Average guy craps, I have no craps in the state of Arizona. So sick. Well, we're going to hear from somebody else. I'm just telling you, that's what happened to me today. I was 0 for 5. There is no craps in Arizona. All I have is bubble craps. And when I go to Las Vegas, I can't film a real table. Can't film a real table, so I got to film the bubble craps. Average guy craps. What do you think?
Okay. Let me tell you about one thing about building a bubble machine.
Hang on. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, part of the way the machine reads the dice, there's a computer program, it's optical recognition. And what that does, the first thing it does is it'll look for a square, so it finds 2 dice. Okay, that's the first thing the program does. The second thing it does, it looks for dots inside the squares. Now what can happen is, and it also knows that I can only have 2 numbers up to 6. So if it's reading 2 sides of the dice, it's halfway over, like you're saying, like it's showing a 3, 2, and a 5, it says that can't happen. That's when you'll either get a re-roll, a no-roll, or something like that. So if those dice are still leaning a little bit, and it can pick out the 2 squares and the dots, it'll read it. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I have the same problem with my machine. It's just computers. It does the best it can. Now, I don't know what inside their machine decides to re-roll or what decides, to say no roll or how that does. That I don't know. But I do know how it reads the dice, and it definitely can do that.
It's frustrating because twice the dice were in the center of the machine, not against the wall, right. In the center. And 2 different results.
Right.
And the first time, the dice, I swear, was at about a 45-degree angle. There's no way I've ever seen that count. And I lost $93. And the second time, it was way closer to the bottom of the table, maybe at about a 20-degree angle, 15-degree angle, almost flat. It would have been a winner for me, and it did not count. It's just the consistency is very frustrating.
Okay, let me throw another wrench at you on this one.
Okay.
Now, the way the white machines that roll, they're pretty much just like mine. It's optical recognition. Now, you ready for the conspiracy?
Okay.
The shoot to, if you look up the patents, they actually have an RIF recognition chip inside the dice. And actually how it reads is when the 2 dice are flat on the floor, it reads the chip in the bottom of the dice. Let that go through your head for a minute.
So you're telling me
and actually,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, you're telling me the red shoot to win dice, well, we know there's a recognition in there somewhere to obviously read the dice, but if they're not flat, how the heck is it reading it?
Because, that's a good question. If it's just flat enough, then it can read it from the RIF chip that's inside the dice. Now now they have a different deal. It's a whole different patent. All this up when I built my machine. It's a whole freaking thing. But that's why it's a little bit different in there.
So what is what's the difference in your opinion to the red shoot to win machines and the white dice, the interblock system dice machines?
Okay, the white ones, that is more like what I have. It's doing more optical recognition through a computer from a camera. It's taking a look at them inside there. The red shoot to win dice, they're definitely a bit more rolly, and they have a chip inside that they read through like a sensor, not necessarily through a camera.
Interesting. I'm telling you, the red shoot to win dice, I've seen many things over the years. Today just put me over the top. When you go 0 for 5 in situations that you lose money on because either they didn't read it, it didn't flip over, or did flip over, or it reshuffled, or they called the attendant. That's the frustrating part with the red shoot to win dice. It has 4 options that it can do when it can't read the dice, and it's just not cool.
Well, now I'll let you know that the call the attendant one, that's a weird one. I don't understand that. I don't know what the machine would say to have to call the attendant. Like, what are they doing? Are they resetting the machine? What are they doing?
Yeah, they come over and they have to put the key in, and ding, 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 and they reset the machine because it cannot read the dice. Now, why does it reshuffle? Well, it can't read the dice. So why do they have to come over and reset it? I don't get it.
Well, the only thing I can guess is that, it's a computer program. If the program is glitching a little bit, and they've had, like you said, 3 in a row, then maybe they say, hey, come here and reset the machine and get it started again. You got to start the program over again. Mine will do that sometimes. It'll read the dice fine for 300 rolls, and then suddenly it skips one.
Okay.
And maybe if they get enough skips, that machine says, hey, reset the computer program and start again because something's going goofy.
So,
that's the only thing I can guess.
Okay, so maybe after 5 or 6 no reads or reshuffles or flip overs, they want to call the attendant. I can buy that. I just don't get how sometimes it reads it, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes they flip it over. Now, if you saw my example, when the dice are on the side of the ring, because it's not a flat surface, like the white inner block system has a flat table. It doesn't really have sides like the inner block. Like the shoot to win does. The shoot to win has that built-in side advantage that it can flip dice over. The white inner block does not. I don't get when the dice are on its side on the red shoot to win machine. Sometimes it just reshakes half of a millisecond and flips it over for you, and other times it just reshuffles them totally. Like, why? Like, there should be a consistency when they can't read the dice. That's the most frustrating part to me, and I went 0 for 5 today, and every time the decision did not go my way. Now, could I have sat there and all 5 decisions went my way? I guess. But I'm just releasing my frustration because I went 0 for 5 every time it had trouble reading dice. It did not go my way today.
Yes, you had a bad day.
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Right. But that is a thing. In watching your Vegas, there are times when you'll get, you're on a freaking tear, and it's 7, 7, 7s, and then it throws a come out 7, and you're pissed. It's like, okay, it's gonna happen. Every time. I get that's a little different than today's situation, but it will happen.
I just don't like when I'm the only player at the table. Can we talk about this for a second? Now that
I have this feeling.
Now there's less than 8 players. Normally we can have up to 8 players at a bubble craps machine. Now, because every other one's turned off for social distancing, etc., there's only a maximum of 4 players now. Now,
yes,
you have to be able to tell me that they know where most of the money is at that time. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I know the gaming control wouldn't allow it. But if it's technically called a slot machine, slot machines don't have to pay 100% back. They have to pay anywhere from, I'm just making up a number, 90 to 99.9% payback. So if the bubble crap machine is classified, which we know for comp reasons is classified as a slot machine, you tell me that they don't have a possible built-in 10% up to 10% house edge on flipping these dice over or not reading them. Is that a possibility?
Not a chance. If they did that, then it would be, first of all, dice alone are a random, okay? No matter what you do, dice are random. Okay, so that's a game of chance as it is. You don't need to rig dice because they're random. It's just how it is. There's no reason to rig it. It's always going to be not in your favor based on how craps is set up. You know, the sevens are the most rolled. So, I mean, it's random. It doesn't need to be rigged. There's no way. It doesn't have to. Now, it's only slot machine. That doesn't mean it's rigged to pay out. That's just because that's how the gaming commission puts it together. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Yeah, no. I understand. I understand all that, but I'm just saying a slot machine over time will pay back 90%, we'll say. Well, that doesn't mean that the bubble craps, which is technically a slot machine, doesn't have to pay just 90% back. And say they have an overall house edge of 3. Now they can maybe manipulate it 7% more. That's all I'm saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Right. But if that's the case, then what they would have is like win craps. They would have slot machines with just video dice and not real dice. You wouldn't need that. It would be a random number generator, and they would just have slot machines like that if it was really a slot machine. That's not what it is. For it to be craps and the dice, I mean, they have live dice that are going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just don't think people would play it if it was just a picture of a dice randomly on a slot machine. So, no, I get you.
Right, and that's why they don't have to rig it. I mean, it doesn't have to have a certain amount of payout. Definitely not. I mean, even at tables, there are times you have leaners on the table. You know, I get ticked off. A lot of times the leaner's a 7, they'll call it. The leaner's what you want. They'll go, oh, re-roll. You know, I mean.
I agree with you 1,000%. We've had many people in the chat and email me say, hey, the casino seems to change the rules all the time depending on how the table's going. I don't get it. There's a very vague, it happens. Yeah. So
for the reason a leaner 7, they count every single time.
If nobody's on the don't.
There you go.
So,
oh man, again, there would be so much liability for the casino if that's the way it was. I mean, they would lose their life. I mean, they can't do it. They still have to go. The game's called craps. They have to go by the rules of craps and whatever the gaming board puts together. I mean, it would be so much liability for the casino. There's just no way.
I get it. I totally get it. But can I flip it for a second? We all have played blackjack before, but are you ever going to play one of those electronic blackjack machines?
People play video poker all day.
I'm not saying video poker. I'm talking about blackjack. Those video blackjack machines.
Right.
That's not real blackjack. If you think you're getting the random cards, you're full of it.
Right. Well, no, but this is a problem. Those are all done by random number generators in a computer. And everybody knows, I mean, it's really not random. It's as random as it can get that a computer can generate, but it's not random like actually having 52 cards and shuffling. So your results are going to be a little skewed by that. Just like on Windcrafts, it has a random number generator. You notice if you play it, it seems like you get more 7s, and it's just kind of ridiculous. That's why I built a bubble machine.
Yeah.
I wanted real dice rolling, not the random number generator.
Now, have you ever seen the small individual interblock machines with the really small itty-bitty white dice?
But that's what I play on here. That's what my casino has. It's not single. It does have 6 stations. But it is the really small white dice. That's what I play.
I have never, all the videos I've seen and my live play on that little white dice, I've never seen them not have a roll accepted by the machine.
I will agree with you there.
So, why the heck does the red shoot the win dice every, we'll say, 12 rolls have a problem?
Well, I think that's a little much. I don't think it's every 12 rolls.
Well, I'm telling you, if you go back to my videos, either they're laying on its side and they flip over, or they're
right. No, yours. Now again, that's what I'm saying. Yours probably was in some kind of glitch where it's not reading it, and that's why they called the attendant and reset the thing because something was going haywire with the machine.
Well, they call the attendant quite a bit. I'm talking from my experience. I bet you they call the attendant once every hour.
Wow.
Let me put it out in the chat. Hang on, let me put it out in the chat. Crap Strategies Live. What is your opinion on how many times they call the attendant, would you say? I say it's about once every hour. Anybody else out there, Bubble Craps players? How many times do they have to call the attendant? Once an hour? My opinion is once an hour. Yeah, Michael, I agree. I'm just saying, in my experience, about once every hour they call the attendant. But I do have to say, certain machines, it happens more frequently.
Now, here's what and I don't know about in your area, but I know in California, and Bubble Craps Tracker and all that.
Yeah.
They're going more toward the interblock. They have the stadium ones now. They have all the hybrid machine. So it seems like they're going a little bit away from a ruse and bigger into the interblock now, because they're putting in tons of machines like that out of Pachanga, I know, from Bubble Craft Tracker. So there may be a switch. They may be saying, hey, this ruse was fun, but it's kind of a pain to deal with.
I think it's a pain. Well, I can tell you from the Cosmo, period. When I play at the Cosmo this last trip, I think they only called the attendant maybe once the whole trip. Now, and I'm here saying once every hour. Maybe that means because my local casino, it happens twice every hour, that it changes, the odds for me. At the Cosmo, I think it only happened once the whole trip. And let me see. When I play at Aria, I don't think I've ever had to call the attendant.
Right.
But at my local casino, it's got to be twice an hour. But overall, I'd say it's about once an hour.
But that may just be a crap machine. Maybe they got problems with it. You're right. That's just a crap machine.
Well,
it's causing more problems than it.
And I understand the red shoot to win machine, it's going to have more attendant issues than the white interblock. You don't ever see attendants coming over to the white interblock machine. That's just like it runs on its own.
Actually, I've only had it happen twice. I have had it happen twice on ours.
Crap Strategies Live is telling me that he says in his experience, they call the attendant when it can't read the dice after, a short amount of time. It's happened a couple of times. Then it goes to the attendant.
Okay, then that would make total sense. They have the RFID chips inside the thing. If the computer's glitching and struggling to do it, then maybe that's the time they got to reset it. Again, it's a computer. It breaks slot machines to do that. There are times they got to reset it. Yep. And that may be the case. So he may be right on that a certain amount of times it happens, they got to do it.
So I got Chris telling me in San Diego, the bubble crap, that said it happens pretty frequently. They call the attendant. Michael Churba saying the interblock is just as bad. We got Polka Guy says in Atlantic City, the Harris and Golden Nugget, he says he never sees the attendant called, ever.
Right.
I guess it does depend on what's happening. I don't know.
Again, the bogus machine, some are better than others, I guess. It's all electronics. Just like some dealers are better than others.
Well, the interblock systems do allow you to play 3, 4, 5 times odds. The red shoot to win is a 2 times odds only machine, period.
That varies on where you go. That's not necessarily true. Mine, and I know the one in Pachanga and that's only 2 times odds.
For the red shoot to win or the interblock?
Interblock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, mine's definitely only 2 times. And I have a $50 bet limit. I can't bet over $50 on it. I got that going for me.
Is that in total bets or is that per roll?
Total bets.
So in Arizona, it's 35 total bet as well, but the red shoot to win machine at my local casino, it does 35 every roll. Every other casino in Arizona I've been to, they do not have the shoot to win machine. They have the white inner block, and it's 35 on the table, period.
Right, that's what I got. 50 on the table, period. That's it. You can't go over 50 ever.
Well. So
takes a time to win money that way, but that's why I'm an average guy, man. That's all I can bet.
I just am frustrated with the red shoot to win dice because the program setup, for some reason, I'll explain this to everybody who's just joining us, that the dice has 4 options. They have 4 options when that dice, they can't read it. If one die is standing on its side, it has 4 options, that machine. That's why I don't like it. It could read it. It could flip it over. They could reshuffle. Or they call the attendant. That's what I don't like.
Right. It most likely it has to do with those RFID chips inside the dice. That if they're not flat on the table, something can't read it. I don't exactly 100% know, but trust me, when I built my machine, we looked up patents. We looked up trying to find out how they did it, the different motors. And that's another thing. The motors are different as well. There's 2 different kinds of motors. And the motor there has the ability to shake it, whereas the other one may be just a linear actuator, which is like my machine, and that doesn't really have the capacity to just shake it a little. And those motors are very expensive, by the way, to do that. That's why I don't have.
So,
but yeah.
Another question a lot of us have is, why in the world sometimes does it appear that the dice hit the top of the machine because they've got so much pop, and other times it feels like, it just barely shook at all. The dice didn't even move.
Okay, a couple things on that, because that's something I've tried to figure out. Now, the inner block, I don't know if you'll notice, my machine actually really will do this. It's pressure sensitive on the inner block. If you barely tap it, it'll just kind of bobble around and then roll. If you punch it, it'll pop them up. The shoot to win one, I think, is kind of random of how much. Now, also it has to do with a little bit of physics. If you hit the button while the table's on its way down, well, then it's not going to pop quite as much. If you hit it while it's on its way up, it may pop up quite a bit. That's what keeps it a little random on it. So it may just have to do with a little bit of physics of how the table's going up and down and when the dice hit. It's kind of like when you're throwing at the table. Sometimes you throw and the damn thing goes halfway back to you. Sometimes you throw it, it just hits the table and dies. It's just about the transfer of energy and what's going on. I mean, it's a physics kind of thing. But yeah, I think that shoot to win does have, it's a little bit random about how hard it'll pop or not and when the dice are there.
Crap Strategies Live says the RNG in bubble craps determines how hard the floor pops up. That's what gives it the slot designation.
Okay. I don't quite follow that, but I okay.
I don't know. So it's got, if it was just a flat surface, I guess you rolling the dice or whatever, it wouldn't be technically a slot machine, but because it's got all those moving parts and it's got all that inside it, I guess that's why.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I don't know. Justin's telling me that he thinks there's a range there, that it can be anywhere from, say it's 1 to 10. 10, it just shakes the whole damn machine. 1, it doesn't even move. Say there's a random thing in there anywhere from 3 to 8, it's going to throw them. Who knows? That's what Justin says.
Yeah, that could be. That makes sense. I mean, again, that's part of what makes it random. They're not popping the exact same. Now, again, it's a little different with the inner block because those are actually pressure activated. If you barely hit it, it'll just bobble. If you punch it, it'll pop.
Yeah, for people that don't understand, the white dice machines, the inner block, we'll call them, the white dice, when you hit the button, the harder you hit the button or the more pressure you put on it, the more the dice will react. The red shoot to win machine, it doesn't matter how hard you hit the button or doesn't matter. It's going to do whatever it wants to do anyway.
Okay, but here's the difference. And this is where I like the red dice because I'm actually shooting them. When I hit the button on the red dice, I'm determining when it's going to shoot, whereas the white dice, I don't get any determination. I hit the button, all it does is roll the dice. It does whatever it wants.
So on the white inner block system, the dice aren't shaking around before you hit the button. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
And
all you're doing is start.
And the red shoot to win machine, they're bouncing around randomly, and you're hitting the button to activate the bounce system or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Now, I will tell you something. It's total crap what I'm getting ready to say. It's totally in my mind. But I think on the red dice, if I see a 7 showing at the top and I hit the button, it seems to roll a good number. It is totally mental in my own mind. But it seems like you can almost kind of control shoot that. It's totally crap. Trust me, I understand what I'm saying. It's crazy. But that's what I like about the red dice. Sometimes I feel like that because I'll let them roll until I see a 7 up and then I'll punch it. Whereas the white dice, I just got to hit it and it's going to do whatever it's going to do.
So you're one of those guys. You're one of those guys with the red dice shoot to win machines that doesn't hit the button right away. You make me wait and wait till you see a 7 appear. Is that what you're telling me? And then you hit the button.
That is a true story, and I've done very well with that. But
really?
It doesn't mean it's true. It just means what I believe.
The more we think about, crazy. It's such a mental game. It's like trying to hit that 99-mile-an-hour fastball. If mentally you're psyched out, how the hell are you going to do that? It's crazy.
Right. And again, you win some, you lose some.
Well, what's your final take on is Bubble Craps rigged or not?
Not a chance. Doesn't need to be. That's the beauty of dice. That's why I love dice. That's why I play dice. It doesn't have to be rigged because it's rigged already.
All right. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thank you.
So my approach to this is it rigged? Well, I'll tell you, I had 5 absolutely horrible breaks today. Now, is it rigged? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I do not like that it's not consistent. Why the hell is it not consistent if it can't read the dice in the red bubble craps? If you cannot read the dice, if the machine recognizes one of the die is sideways or not flat, why the heck does sometimes it just flip over? Why the heck does sometimes it reset and it reshuffles? How come sometimes it says, oh, I recognize that, it's a 4-6, it's a 10. And other times it doesn't recognize it. And how come sometimes it calls the darn attendant? All I'm trying to say today is, why the heck is it not exactly the same in the red shoot to win machine? If it cannot register the dice, if it cannot read them, it should automatically shuffle both dice. This, sometimes it reads it, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it flips it over. That stuff has to go. That's a bunch of crap, in my opinion. I just want it to be consistent. That's all I'm saying. I just want consistency. Yeah, playing the bubble craps by yourself, that's pretty rough. I think I might have to go with a smaller bankroll each session. I don't know what the plan is going forward, but I'll definitely not stop playing. It's just, when it comes to bubble craps, it's the only thing I can film legally in the casino, not the real table. So I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board, maybe go with some smaller wagers. Try to go with a smaller bankroll and try to turn it into something. Maybe a $30, $40 bankroll and try to turn it into $75, $100, rather than playing with $100, trying to turn that $100 into $300. Play with a real small bankroll. I don't know. I appreciate everybody joining me today. Thanks to Average Guy Craps for joining us. Appreciate everybody being here. Crap Strategies Live. Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Michael, Eric made it 10, Polka Guy, Crap Strategies Live, Michael, Mike Burns. Appreciate everybody. Woo! Chris, I'm just really frustrated today. Get her done. Pen, dice tosser. Appreciate everybody. We'll see everybody later today. We've got a few more bubble crap sessions to go. Thanks, Justin, Mark. Appreciate it, guys. Hey, guys, let the 7 work for you. Stop trying to beat the dang 7. Hey, Mark. Thanks, man. Hey, Robert. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today.